Okay, I think welcome back to Computer Electronics 210. I'm sorry, Computer Electronics 206. There is a 210. That is the continuation of this class, the second half. The A+ certification has two parts to it. It has two exams that you take at two different times to complete your A+ certification. And roughly, this class deals with the first part, and the second class, which is Computer Electronics 210, deals with the second half, roughly. And it's not exactly that way, but it's a continuation. There's too much to cover in one semester entirely. So we go through, in this course, Computer Electronics 206, we go through the first half, and then the 210 goes through the second half. And I'm going ahead and recording this on Google Hangouts. I studied it a little more, figured out what I was doing wrong, and realized that they had changed something that I didn't understand. But I found out how to make it work again, so I can do screen share. So that's what was giving me a hard time last time, and now I can switch back and forth between the screens and camera and so on. There, now I've got the camera working. So, hello. You can't see it on the screen up there, can you? All right. Well, hello, I'm Tim Vaughn, and welcome back. I'm recording this because you can watch it on YouTube Live. We have an online version of the class, and we'd like to be able to include them in some things here, just to show them some things during the lecture and so forth. And so that's why I'm doing this. And I can show them the screen, and I can show them myself or whatever I want to with the camera. I gave everybody a guide. We're using in this course an online textbook, or actually it's a simulator and interactive textbook called Test Out that you subscribe to through subscription for 18 months, 1.5 years. We use this in both this course and in the course that follows, Computer Electronics 210. Let's see if I can put me on the screen here. Here we go. So we can use that. So once you get this, you can use it for both. You don't have to buy another one if you take the second course. And you pointed out that the price was $125. It's $129 with the discount. Well, they raised it a little bit, I guess. And you can get it, and that's with that code that's on our syllabus. There's a code that tells you how you can get it with a discount. That code is, the regular price is $170. And they also have it available at the Pirates bookstore. But they don't give you the discount. That's the difference. So you probably want to buy it directly from Test Out, just to get the subscription directly. But sometimes you have to get it from the bookstore. So that's because of financial aid arrangements and so on. The bookstore doesn't stock really anything. It's just a code. You just get a code. And that code gets you on the Test Out website. And so let's take a look at that website. Now I'm showing the screen on the broadcast. So TestOut, the company, testout.com, where you get that from. And it's a company, it's an education publishing company that publishes this. And the purpose for this certification, the PC Pro is what's called, PC Pro. It's listed under courses. And it's also referred to as LabSim. That's the name of it. And so we go to the TestOut website. You can, of course, purchase it there as well. And there are several courses that they have. They specialize in certifications for IT information technology. They primarily focus on the Computer Trade Industry Association certifications, CompTIA for short. You can look at the CompTIA website, of course. CompTIA.org. They have information about the Computer Trade Industry Association sets standards for certifications, and they work with testing centers. The nearest testing center for us here is in Ceres. It's called Wise Guys PC Training. It's on Mitchell Road in Ceres. And you go there to take the tests, where I took my tests.
Was that hard?
Well, it is a bit of a, I went through the TestOut course so yeah, I studied for it. It's not something you want to take unprepared. It covers a lot of information, and there's two parts to it. So I took the first exam, and then took the next one after I passed it. I came back and took the second one. So
is it a written exam or?
It's on a computer. It's the PC. You go to a testing center and you sit in front of a computer, and it also has like simulations in it, like the TestOut does. So that's one of the nice things about the TestOut simulations is it gets you prepared for the simulations you'll see on the exam. Except the exam ones I don't think are quite as sophisticated. The TestOut's a little more realistic. So they have, the CompTIA organization has a number of different certifications. So the A+ certification is what this course is primarily focused on. A+ certification is for people who are working as IT technicians, information technology technicians, or people that help people with, in other words, people that help people with computers. That's really what it's about. It's involving computers and networks. And it's one of the most common certifications in the world for this line of work. And it's, of course, one of the purposes for getting a certification is to get a job, or in the information technology field, to become an IT technician. And so that's what the certification, A+ certification, is for. And that's what our course is based on. There are other certifications as well, and they list those there. There's one called Network Plus. A+ includes networking. In fact, the second half of this class, the Computer 210, does more about networking. So they focus more on that. There's also a certification called Security Plus, which focuses on security, computer security. And one about servers, Server Plus. We have a course this semester, servers, and we have a server sitting over there. There's one for Linux, Linux Plus, they call it. And there's one for cloud computing, which is also has to do with servers, where you run applications on a remote server. So those are some of the different, oh, and one called IT Fundamentals. IT Fundamentals is the basics of computers. We'd call it computer literacy, perhaps. That would be one word for it. So that's a newer certificate they've come out with. So that's what this course is based on. Those different the certificate, the A+ certificate, not the IT one, but the A+. If you go to the CompTIA website there, you can learn more about the A+ certification. So it tells you here what the areas they focus on for the A+ certification. There's, of course, computer hardware, identifying, using, and connecting hardware and components and devices. So that's a big focus of this course. We deal with the operating system, primarily Windows, a little bit of Linux and Apple, also Mac operating system, iOS. Troubleshooting, software and hardware troubleshooting. In other words, identifying problems. And a little bit of networking, especially in the second course, and security. Mobile devices, that would include laptops, and tablets, and of course cell phones, smartphones. And what they call operational procedures, which is just things that you need to know to be a successful professional information in the computer field. PC, sometimes people refer to them as PC professional or computer professionals. Lots of different names for IT technicians. We have a IT division here at MJ, or department here at MJC. It's right across the hall. It's called Technology Services. And a number of the students who went through this course work there. And so, in fact, they give us a lot of computers. They work on computers for the different computer labs here. So the computers we have in our lockers came out of MJC computer labs. They were upgraded recently, so we get the ones that were in the lab before. They're not the latest model, but they're okay. They work fine for what we do, and so that's a nice thing. We get lots of computers that way. No shortage of computers, and they're Dell computers, so it looks a lot like the ones in the simulations. All right, so that's what the course is all about there. And then we have, I showed you last time how we have our class website, which is Canvas. You go to the MJC website, mjc.edu. And click on the icon here in the upper right-hand corner, and that gets you to Canvas. You have a, they call it the dashboard, and you click on the dashboard, it will show all the different courses you're enrolled in. And this one, and either you're in the course here that meets on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, or you're in the online version of it. So I'm recording this so we can both, and I'll post a link to this video if you want to review it, or if you didn't get to come or something, I'll try to record everything for us. And then last time I showed you how there's modules. You click on modules, and that's what we're seeing right now. Modules is just a name for all the content in the course. And the first part here is the general information about the course, including that document that I just gave everybody here in class, which is this one called Getting Started with Test Out PC Pro. Just show you that here. Well, this is something I created, and this has got a video to watch there. So we watched that video together last time we were here, so I'm not going to play that again. But I was going to show you, I clicked on the wrong link, but that's okay. I'll show you one I wanted to show you. Here it is. This is the document. Getting started with test out. Accounts not activated by teachers. So what that refers to is that your account, you get to activate it yourself. And the way you do that, first thing you do, and it doesn't describe this exactly in this handout here, but if you go to our class website, and you click on modules. Let me open this in a new tab here so we don't have to close that one. If you open up any of the items that have to do with test out, which are the ones with the numbers in front of it, like this one, this is a video. You open that up, 1.1.1, it'll display this. It'll say, please watch the video on Test Out PC Pro. And the link right here, you click on that, and that will take you to Test Out. And the first time you do that, it's going to ask you for that code. So a lot of this stuff that's described in this handout that I gave you is actually done automatically for you. In case it asks you for it, though, I gave it to you. There is a specific school that you're associated with. That's Modesto Junior College. But when you click on that link, it should ask you for your code. It should ask you for your code that you get from Test Out. And so a lot of this stuff here, this is kind of the manual way to do it. But it's important you get enrolled in the correct class. So what I'm saying is, just go ahead and go into the first lesson like I just did by going to our class website, Canvas, and just click on that button here. Now, again, that was in the modules, and then it was any of the test out lessons, and this is the first one right here. It's 1.1.1. So you click on that, it'll put up this screen, and it'll have the button here that says Launch Test Out. And the very first time you do this, that's when it's going to ask you for your code that you get.
Does it remember the code after?
After that, it won't need it anymore, because then it'll recognize you, because when you log into the Canvas website, there's a unique identifier that's associated with you. And so that unique identifier is sent from Canvas server to Test Out server. And then it knows who you are, and you don't have to log in. So just do it that way. You really don't have to, this is if you really don't, if you want to go to Test Out first, you can do it this way. The only thing is that I have to warn you about is if you go to do it this way, do it the instructions here by going to Test Out first, it's possible for you to select, you have to select the right school, Modesto Junior College, and the right course and everything. So that's important to know that. Whereas if you do it this way, if you go to the Canvas website and jump to it, it will automatically take care of that for you. So that's what I recommend you do. Okay, so that's And then last time we were here, we looked through some of the first lessons on TestOut. We looked at how the simulator works. So if you haven't done that already, or if you're in the online class, just go through these lessons in order here. There's the introduction video that I just showed you. And then there's section 1.2 is using the simulator. And last time we were here, we looked at how to use the simulator. There's two parts to it. There's the part that deals with the outside of the computer, and then there's the part that deals with the inside of the computer. And there's video, and then there's also a simulation. And that's what we did on our first class. But just as a little review here, we looked at the lab interface. So if I jump to this, I go to the modules here and click on that. It takes me to a simulation called Exploring the Lab Interface. And when we were here last time, we looked at this simulation. It's demonstrating how the simulator works with components that are on the outside of the computer, or the outside of, including the computer itself. So then we had this task where we wanted to connect up a monitor. We put the monitor down here on the. There's three parts to your simulation. That's like a book. There's a shelf where you have different things to work in the simulation, different components, and then you have the workspace. And then it's telling us over here what we want to do. We want to add a monitor to the workspace. We want to connect up a cable, a DVI cable, and we want to connect the power cord and turn on the monitor and the computer. So we did that last time, and I showed you how you can select a component on the shelf. If you go up here to the shelf and you click on one of these things, you see it'll appear down here as the selected component when you click on it. So there's the power cord. There I selected the video cable. I just realized that our screen isn't showing the whole thing, is it? Not sure why it's doing it. But I guess you can see part of it. Anyway, it appears down here in the corner. And our recording sees it okay. So that's good. You know what I think what happened is I turned the projector on before I set the screens up on this computer. I confused the projector. So I'm going to turn it off real quick and let it reset there. But anyway, the simulator, the idea is that it simulates the tasks, kinds of tasks that an IT technician might, a PC professional might do. And every time this happens, don't really like to do that, but if I don't turn the projector on last, that's what happens. It doesn't know how to synchronize itself. All right, so this is the, let's see, the command. So while the projector is restarting there for everybody to see, so the only thing you need for this class again is the TestOut subscription. And I did mention though that for just daily things that we do in this class, it's great if you can bring a some earphones or headphones with you to plug into computers because they don't have any speakers. There, that's better. Now we can see the whole screen. So in the syllabus, it mentions that it would be nice if you had, it would be good to bring some headphones or earbuds or something to plug in a computer. You know, they're 1/8" regular jack like most headphones have, like you use on your smartphone or lots of different things use those kind of jacks. The other thing that'd be nice to have is a camera to bring along. Oh, by the way, this is all on our syllabus. So you're going to go to the syllabus here. Our syllabus is also on our class websites, right? Right here, course information, syllabus. So what I'm describing is on the 3rd page. Camera would be just a cell phone, smartphone, or anything to document some projects. There's a toolkit I'm going to give you for those people that are in the regular class. The online class, I don't have a toolkit for you, but because you don't meet with me, but the other class we have a toolkit we use. But I'll give you that. That's for you to keep. And it mentions here that you do need a computer that can handle YouTube videos, right? So most any computer can do that anymore. But just don't. If you can't watch YouTube videos, then it won't be fast enough to handle this course. And also in the instructions, it tells you that you should have a working email account because I send you stuff sometimes. So just make sure you can get it. You're into your MJC email account.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, how to do that?
No, because I graduated from Merced and recently I graduated from Scan State, so I have emails from them. I don't know. I've never used emails from here.
Okay, that's okay. That's a good question. How do you get your email account working? Well, to do that, go to the mjc.edu website, and then up here it says student email. But of course, when you click on that, it will bring up your email, but it won't. It'll ask you for your password first. Okay, so that's my email there. But if you've never used it before, it's going to ask you for your username and password, and the question is, how do you get that? Oh, no, that's like what you're asking, I think. Well, there's another link here on the top of. There's another link, and that's PiratesNet. If you click on PiratesNet, and then you go to current or former students, and you log in here, there's a way to, one of the items that's listed on there, let's just use an example here. I'm not sure this works anymore or not. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to show you a student account, but I won't do it because I don't have the right password to change it. That was my son's account, but I have. You go into your
That's easy to get. I don't have to go on that.
Yeah, and there's an item listed on the menu that says to recover your email password.
I think if you go to the Student Resource Center, they'll help you get it already.
That's the other way to do it, right? Student Resource Center, or the other thing
The
is
pathway.
the help desk.
The help desk.
Yeah, that's there's a phone number to call. I think there's even a link on the. I think if you just click it, type in here help desk. Student services. There you go. Right. So they will help you. You can call that number. There's also a thing called help desk. See, it's listed right here. Help desk is to help you with anything to do with computer, like email or PiratesNet or anything like that. They'll help you with your password too. And they'll help you with Canvas somewhat. They won't, of course, they can't help you with things they don't know about, like the content of this course, or they don't know much. They don't know about TestOut. TestOut does have its own help. If you go to the TestOut, when you log in to TestOut, there's a help number. So if you have technical problems with TestOut, they can help you with that 800 number. And of course, I help you too. You can contact me via my email or from my phone, or of course in person. Right. So there's different options for that. All right. So yeah, be sure you get your email to work. Make sure you can get you can log into Canvas through mjc.edu website, and make sure you can get, and then of course TestOut. TestOut requires the subscription. All right. Some stuff off the screen here, so I'm not so confused. All right, next. So that was our syllabus and how to get started with TestOut. There's some instructions on there. Now, about due dates for the course, I didn't mention this last time. You asked me what the due dates are. Well, basically, we're going through these week by week. So I put up modules here in the modules section. So there's links there to the different lessons in TestOut. I won't enforce a due date that cuts you off as such. I'm going to leave it a little bit open. But basically, you want to complete whatever's, just keep up with what we're doing here, basically, each week. But I'm not going to put a deadline on these as such, other than, of course, the end of the semester. So the reason being is, if you want to come back and do one, let's say you didn't get to do one earlier, you can come back and do it. Here's what our primary goal is for our semester. At least this is what I found. This is what we found that seems to we're able to complete in one semester, and that is. Okay, I'm going to turn off my simulation. Oh, I was going to complete. Let me go ahead and finish the simulation, just because I didn't get to record this last time. For those who are watching on the video, the simulation works like this. You can select whichever components you want, and they go down here. So let's say, first of all, I want to, the first thing I might want to do, of course, is get my monitor out. So I don't have a monitor up here in the workspace. The workspace is like a desktop, or a place where somebody, workstation where somebody's going to work on a computer. So I want to put I have to have the monitor there. So I'll put the monitor up. So I'll go ahead and put the monitor on the workspace, and the place where it turns orange like that, that's where it's going to drop in. And then I want to hook up my cables. So let's say I'll start with the video cable. Click on the video cable, that becomes my selected component. And now I want to look at the back of both my computer and the monitor to be able to hook that up. So I can click back from the computer, and I can also look at the back of the monitor. Now, the shelf takes up space here, so if I want to get rid of, just move the shelf out of the way, I can do that. So that's gives you more space to see. And then I want to take my cable here and hook it up. And then it's got two ends to the cable, and they're both unconnected right now, it says down here. So I take this end and I connect it on this end to the computer. And then the shelf came back here. Then I want to connect the other unconnected end to the monitor. If I connect it to the wrong one, it'll make a buzzing sound. But if I connect it to the right one, it'll be able to attach. Okay, so I've got the monitor cable going between the computer and the monitor, and then the other thing I need, of course, is to connect up my power. So we get the power cable here. I need one end to go to the monitor, and the other end needs to go to, well, the power strip. Put that over here. Plug that in one of the outlets. Now that I've done that, I can go ahead and turn everything back around again. And I'll need to turn on my screen here. You got to find the button to turn it on. There it is. If you want to make things bigger, you can magnify by pressing plus here or control plus, so that can make things bigger. Button is right here, so go ahead and turn that on. And that says no signal detected, of course, because there's nothing turned on the computer, but I need to turn the computer on. It's got a button on the front, just like these Dells have here. And we're going to see that the screen displays the operating system boots up. So the simulation looks a lot like the real thing. It tries to emulate things. You know, this has even got Windows here that works, sort of. It doesn't do everything Windows does, but it tries to simulate it as much as possible. So pretty neat. So we got a working computer, and then we're able to do the tasks that are listed here. We were able to complete them, and so now we can say done. And it says that we got a score of 4 out of 4, 100%, and so that's everything's completed there. So we say done. Now there would also be a button that would appear for your simulation up here in the corner. There we are. This was it. There would be a button that will appear here that says to submit score, and you want to press that button after you finish, after you've got the points, so that it will submit the score back to the Canvas website, because Canvas has these modules here set up to link to the test out lessons. And then it has a grade book. There's a grade book that stores the information. It says grades up here. So it puts the points in the grade book for you. The other thing that happens is the test out PC Pro keeps track of your progress. If you click there on that button that is called the course outline, it will list the different sections. And see, I completed the one called Explore the Lab Interface, so now I've got a check mark next to it. And also, the next one is called Working with Internal Components. Now, I can go to those things from the course outline, and it will jump me. It will jump there. If I go like that, it'll take me to, say, that video, which we watched last time. Now, that's called Working with Internal Components. The problem is if you do it from that menu, it won't put the Submit Score button up. So it's preferable to launch it from Test Out's modules. Just launch everything from Test Out. So here's the Working with Internal Components video. If I click on that, and now launch it from there, it'll go ahead and it takes me to the same thing. But when you get finished, you'll have the submit button, the submit score button. If you go ahead and let's say you do things from the test outs course outline, the chapters listed there, if you start it from there, it's not a disaster. It remembers that you did it, and then if you click on it again, it will have the submit score button. I mean, if you launch it from Canvas, from the class website, in other words, from here, like this, then you'll see the submit score button appear again. And since you'd already completed it previously, it remembers that, and you can go ahead and submit your score later. So it's not a disaster if you don't launch it from Canvas. It's just that you want to be sure to do it at some point. Make sure the points get put into the, get your points put into the gradebook, because the gradebook for our course, main gradebook, is on Canvas. But the test out keeps its own gradebook, keeps its own records too. So you got two places where the record of your progress are stored. But we do some things in this course that aren't part of test out, and so that's not going to be recorded on test out. It's going to be recorded in Canvas along with the test out things. So it gets everything put together. Okay, just any questions about how the modules work and that sort of thing? I know I kind of rehashed that with you, but it's.
Yes, I think there's no process, just going to be there's no need for us to save it in your, it'll just be something that you log on and your textbook's going to be right there. Or the simulator.
Right, yeah, I'm sure you couldn't hear that, but he said that he's asking, do we have to launch test out separately, or can we just go to the Canvas website and do it? And yes, that's right, you can go to the Canvas website and launch it from there. You don't have to log into test out separately. You don't have to bring up the test out website like I did. Yeah, that's a good question. A good point there. So you don't have to do that. I'll put myself on the camera. So anyway, I hope that this document that's on our class website is, again, if you want to get started with test out using test out only, you can do it with this, but you don't have to. You can use you can just go to Canvas to do it. And by the way, for those of you who are online, we have our class here. Here all of it. There we go. So I can move my camera around. So this is our classroom here we have. And sometimes, hello.
Who's watching? We are live.
Right. All right. Okay, next thing.
How many devices do we have that test out on?
How many devices?
Yeah.
Any one you want. Any number you want.
Any number?
Yeah, you access it from any computer. It doesn't care what you use, just so long as you have your username and password. Well, actually, you can log into Canvas, and then it will jump to the test out for you. All right, let's see. All right, so that gets us started with the simulator, and we looked at how to use the simulator. And then there's internal components. There's a simulation for that. We haven't looked at that. Let's look at that real quick. So internal components. So in this lab, you'll practice working with internal computer components. You work as an IT administrator, information technology administrator for a small corporate network. You're working on a computer in your office. And it says we're going to look at the motherboard inside of a computer. If the motherboard is the part of your computer that everything connects to. This is the motherboard. And this is the, you don't have to have a case for a computer. You could just get a motherboard like this and set it on a table and connect different parts to it. You connect your monitor to the video connector here, for example, and the keyboard and mouse to the USB ports and a power supply. You could have a power supply. You can connect that to it and have it sitting on a table. The case is to protect it, though. But this really is your computer. And so that's inside the case. So we're supposed to do a few things here. We're supposed to install a memory module. We're supposed to install an expansion card. We're supposed to plug in a power supply connector. And we're supposed to connect up a cable to a CD compact disk drive and plug the power into the CD drive. And we're supposed to switch back to the motherboard and connect the cable to the motherboard, the data cable, and then turn on the computer. Let's see if we can do that real quick. There's the simulator starting up. The simulator loads into your browser. You don't have to install any software on your computer. It just uses the built-in Java that runs inside your browser, programming language that runs inside your browser. So first it says to switch to the motherboard view. So that's right up here. This is the outside front view of it. So if I click to the motherboard, there I can see the motherboard inside my case. And then it says read the documentation and locate the following components: memory slot, PCI slot, and main motherboard power connectors. So you can make it, if it's not, it's kind of small right now, I can make it bigger by clicking up here where it says plus, or by clicking on my keyboard, I can type Control plus and do that. And make it bigger or smaller. And it's saying we need to find the place for our memory, the PCI slot, and also the main motherboard connector. And it's saying that there's some we've got some cables here. We have expansion card connect up to the monitor, and we have some memory modules on our shelf waiting for us. This is the view of the motherboard inside view of our computer. And you can click on different things and it will light them up. If you click on the motherboard itself, then it will make that be the selected component down here. And then there's a link here that says details. You click on that, it will show you another picture of the motherboard, which you can make bigger or smaller. But in particular, it has the specifications. The specifications tell you about the motherboard and where everything is. So it was saying in the instructions over here that we want to find the memory slots. Well, I know these are the memory slots. Number 4, let's just make sure that says 4 DDR3 DIMM slots. That's the memory slots. Dual inline memory module. That's
where you put the RAMs, right?
the RAMs, yeah.
Yeah.
So that goes right here.
Yep.
And then we need the PCI slot. And let's see where it's number 20 says PCI slots. For these two, we can use either one of those for our expansion card that's going to go into the PC slot. And then the other thing is we need to know where the main motherboard power connector is.
Isn't that number 2? No, wait, hold on.
Number 1, ATX power connector, 24 pin. That's what they're referring to. The biggest one here, the biggest power connector. Now, I think what you're saying is number 2 is the.
Is a slot for isn't it for
That's the CPU socket. Number 2 is the CPU socket. And then it lists all the others there. Yeah, that would go right there. And then number 3 is a CPU chassis and power fan connector. So there are some other connectors for power, but they're to provide power to a fan. So there's
the power box, we didn't call it.
power supply.
Yeah, power supply. Number 2 is for that, right?
Yeah. Number 1 is for that. Number 2 is the CPU. This is the CPU socket.
Oh.
And then over here, number 1 is for power, from the power supply.
Oh, that's for the power supply.
Yeah. And we see the power supply inside the case. That's right up here.
Yes.
And so it's telling us now that we need to connect some things. So let's see, what should we do first? From the shelf, install the memory module in the open memory slot. Okay, so then I need to select I have to get my shelf back, don't I? And then click on memory modules. Okay, select the memory module. Now it appears down here. Now I can take the memory module and put it into one of my slots.
Oh, nice.
Does it matter which one to put it in? Not really. If there's 2 of them, then it would. Usually you put it in the first one if you have a choice. But the motherboard's smart enough to know if you just put 1 in, for example, it'll use it in whatever slot it's in. But if you had a choice, they have them numbered. There will be memory module slot 0, 1, 2, and 3. So you put it in 0. Let's see if we can determine which one we have here. I don't know if it's even listed on here or not. I don't think you can see it. But if you put it in, if it's just 1 module, it really wouldn't matter which one you put it in. I would just simply prefer to put it in the first one. If you put in 2, you notice they're 2 different colors. Then that's because it's got dual. It uses the 2 memory modules simultaneously. You're supposed to put 1 in the orange and 1 in the black. Yeah, that's the way that works. Let's see. So we put our memory module in, and then we've got the PCI slot. Okay, so we have a PCI slot. PCI slot is. Let me go out, zoom out here so we can see it. It's too far. The PCI slot is these white ones right here. And for that, we want to put an expansion card in there, an expansion card. So I'm going to select the expansion card like that, and I'm going to put that into one of the PCI slots. Does it matter which one? No, it really doesn't, but you just put it in one that's available. And there it is, it's installed.
That's for the network, right?
That particular card is a, let's see, we click on details. It is, it mentions that it's a an interface for FireWire interface. Yeah, that's a FireWire card. So that's kind of like USB. It's used for, it's kind of an obsolete connector. It's not used so much anymore, but sometimes people, most computers don't come with it, but you can install it in there as an accessory. People use it for video cameras sometimes now, mostly. But it's not used as much as USB. So that's why most computers don't have that as one of their, you know, they don't usually come with that. So if you wanted that, you'd have to add it. So that's what we're doing. We're adding FireWire. And then let's see, what else do we have left here? Got some cables. We're going to need that because it says to do hard drive, doesn't it? It says from the, so we did the memory module, we did the PCI, we put the card in, and then it says on the power supply, plug in the motherboard power connector into the motherboard. So I need to select the power supply. So now that I selected the power supply, it shows me the cables. There's a bunch of wires that come out of the power supply. Let me grab a power supply. So see, it's a typical power supply. A typical power supply has, oh dear. A typical power supply has a lot of wires coming out of it. And I just realized that with my recording, I forgot to put it back to the screen here. It takes a little, need a camera, I need an operator, huh? Okay, so just sorry about that. You've seen me. So what we did while we were a moment ago is we went ahead and we dropped in a memory slot in here. We put a expansion card on the expansion slots. And now we're going to do the power supply. So I selected the power supply, and I'm going to connect up the power connector, and that goes right here, like that. Well, that's done. Okay. And then that says to switch to the drive bays view, and we're going to use the serial ATA cable, SATA cable, it's called. Drive bay. The drive bay has the hard drive and the optical drive.
The CD drive and all that.
The CD, DVD drive, right?
Yeah.
So now we're going to connect up the SATA cable. So I select that, and I've got two ends. One end I need to connect up to the back of my.
Oh wait, this is where the hard drive is?
This is where the hard drive and the CD drive is. So I need to connect up the connector for the serial ATA cable to the back of my. Now there's two connectors on the back. There's a bigger one and a smaller one. The bigger one is for power.
It's smaller.
And the smaller one is for data. So that's where it goes. So I've got that hooked up. And then to connect the other end, I've got to return back to the motherboard view here. And I've got to look for a got to look for the connector that the serial ATA cable goes to. That's the SATA connector.
Yeah.
I think I see them right down here. So the other end's going to go to that. And if you don't know where they are, again, what you can do is you can select the motherboard as your selected component and go to Details. And then under Details and Specifications, you can look for that. I think you'll find serial ATA. That's number 8. Number 8, yeah, number 8 is the serial ATA connectors. There's 5 of them.
Yeah, it depends on the computers. Some of them have more, some of them have less.
Yep, some have a lot more. They vary, don't they? Yeah, and this one goes then to one of those.
Any one of them you could plug it into.
Yes, it's pretty much doesn't matter which one you plug it into.
Yeah, I'm a computer technician. I work in. I know a lot about this stuff.
Well, that's good to have a
Knowledge.
yes. And then let's see, did we connect everything else? Oh yes, we also have to connect up our power for the drive. It's called the 15-pin SATA power connector on the CD drive. So let's see, how do we do that? We have to make it look at the drive again. We click on Drive View, and maybe go make it clear right size. And I've got to select the power supply and then find the power connector that will go there. And that's one of these power connectors. These are the serial ATA. By the way, ATA stands for Advanced Technology Attachment. So it's the serial Advanced Technology Attachment power connector. And I take that and I plug it into the back of my CD drive. Oops. Let's do that again here. Got to make sure I get one that's not connected. I tried to connect this one, which was already connected to the hard drive. So you got to select one that isn't. So pull that one out. Try that one. There, that one connected up. Okay, so I've connected up my serial ATA cable. Now it says I think I've got everything hooked up. So I switch to the front view and switch the front and turn the power on, and let's see if it works.
Right now, the monitor.
Oh, let's see. Is the monitor not hooked up?
No, it's not hooked up.
Okay, let's take a look at that. Oh, it looks like it is already.
It is?
Yeah. See, it's got.
No, where's the VGA?
Well, it's using DVI.
Oh,
And then on the back of the computer, if you select back here, you can see that the other end's plugged in right there.
okay, everything's hooked up. Now let's turn it on.
So let's go to the front. The monitor looks like it's already turned on, but it says no signal detected. So if I turn on my computer, looks like it's doing something. Starting Windows. Good. Everything worked. So that's using internal components. And I click Done, and it gives me that I got a score of 100%. And there would be a Submit Score button that would appear up here for you. All right. Well, let's take a break, and I will come back at a little before 11. How about that? And then we will wrap things up. We'll start on hardware, and I'll stop our broadcast here.